Hello guys, welcome back to Gearjunkies TV and a new video. Today we're gonna take a look at the Waldorf M synthesizer. The Waldorf M is a new desktop synthesizer based on and inspired by the microwave, Waldorf's first synthesizer, and that was based on the PPG Wave from the 80s. It is an 8-voice synth with digital wavetables for its oscillators and an analog filter and VCA section. It contains two synth engines from the Microwave 1 and the later released Virtual Analog Microwave 2. By the way, you can stay informed about all our videos by subscribing to our channel. Just click the subscribe button below the video and you can hit the bell button to get notifications when there's something new on our channel. So let's take a look at how the M is organized. Everything is in this desktop format synthesizer enclosure, which is the same size as the earlier Iridium and Kera synthesizers that they released. And all the controls are on the panel here. There are two oscillator sections with the characteristic red encoder knob that has returned to this synth. And this is a two-stage potentiometer, so the inner section controls the start wave of the oscillator, and the second, the ring actually controls the selection of the wavetables. Then there's a mix section for oscillator 1 and 2, and there's also a noise and a ring modulator that you can add to this mix. Here we see some controls for the Arpeggiator, which we'll take a look at later. And here in the central screen we have the display, which is a very nice looking OLED display, and each section has its own knob, so you can take a look at the different parameters of the Waldorf by pressing the buttons. Then here is the VCF section with cutoff and resonance parameters, envelope amount, velocity and key tracking, VCA with envelope amount and velocity. There's a glide button here which controls the rate, and you can activate it here. Then we have two LFO sections on this side, and this section below here is for all the envelopes. Let's take a listen to the oscillators, and for that I will bring down oscillator 2 for the moment and just listen to oscillator 1. So you can run through the start of the used wavetable with the red knob, and you can change the wavetable by using the outer ring. Further, there are controls here for octave, semitone, detuning, and envelope amount. The same goes for section 2. So, as you can hear, the sound is very characteristic, and this is caused by using wavetables. So, in short, what is a wavetable? This is, in this case, a range of 64 small samples, and the 64 samples, they together form the waveform that forms the oscillator. Now, they have included 64 original wavetables from the PPG Wave in this M, and you select them with this ring, and by running through the start position of the waves, you can determine the sound of the oscillator. By the way, originally in the wavetable section here, the upper three waves were sawtooth, square wave and pulse. So you could always revert to creating traditional synthesizer sounds. But Waldorf has included a lot more wavetables in this M synthesizer. So not only do you have the originals from the Microwave 1, you have a lot of extras, including formants and strange industrial waveforms, a lot. And some of them were also present in the Waldorf Blofeld synthesizer. You might recall that one. So you select the sounds with the encoder knob here. It runs through the sounds here in this bank, and you choose a bank with one of these buttons. You press recall to actually load the sound into the M. And this takes getting used to, because you would expect to press the button to load the sound. But when you do that, the M switches to multi-mode, because it can also work multi-timbral, which means you can have up to 4 sounds playing simultaneously and on various MIDI channels, and you can also address them to the auxiliary outputs. By the way, all the controls or connections are on the back side. So we have a headphone section with separate volume control. There's a left and right, main out. There are 4 aux outputs, MIDI in, out and through, USB, and there's an SD card slot which you can use to store and load the sounds back into the M. So let's take a look at the filter section here. We'll just play a different sequence and listen to how the filter sounds. As you can see, all the changes you make by turning on the encoders are visible directly in the display, and the display has all these separate sections. So when you choose VCF and you turn one of these knobs, you can immediately see what is going on and what the exact setting of the knob is, which is nice. It makes it really easy to edit the sounds of the M and create your own interesting stuff with it. I compared the M also to the original microwave that I've had for a long time, and it actually loads the sounds of the microwave with a MIDI sysx dump, and it recognizes the original microwave sounds automatically and then converts it. This takes a while. It was busy for a few minutes to convert everything, but then in theory you have the same sounds in the M as you have in the microwave. I compared them directly, but I decided not to show them here because there was quite a huge difference. And this has to do with the fact that the analog parts might look similar of the M, but all the rest is done by a DSP engine. And the microwave that I have is over 30 years old, so it sounded so different that it wasn't of much use to show it here. To name the difference, I would say that the original sounds less bright, has a little fuzzy edge in the low end to it, and has its own character. But that certainly is the case as well for the M. It sounds very precise. Of course, the wavetables sound a little metallic, rich in harmonics, and the preciseness of it is a trademark that I think all the modern Waldorf synthesizers have. But the difference is you can create quite a nice, edgy kind of sound creation with it. That makes it very different from any other synth that you can currently purchase. Let's take a look at the envelopes, because there's also a difference between the M and the original microwave is that it has a lot more of them. So we have here the VCF and VCA envelopes. I can show you in the display as well. As soon as you turn the knob, you can see how the filter envelope looks and how the VCA envelope looks. But there are a few more envelopes here. We have the wave envelopes, and they have a multi time and level setting. So by adjusting these and then apply the envelope amount here in the oscillators, it runs differently through the wavetable and automatically creates a much more interesting, almost alive sound. And then there's a free envelope which also has time and level, and you can address this to any parameter that you want. Then there are two LFO sections. They're the same, and they each have their own waveforms: sine, triangle, pulse, random, and sample and hold. You can change the rate with this button, and there are some extra functions here like symmetry and a humanize function, so it can sound a little bit different. There are no onboard effects. I quite like that because it gives a very puristic sound to the microwave. There is, however, also an arpeggiator built in, and I'll show you how this works, which is a little bit strange, I think, because you have to use the shift function and you press play, and now it would start playing the arpeggiator, but you first have to switch it on, and then you have to increase the clock and BPM, and there we go. There's a normal mode, a one-shot mode, and a hold mode, but you have to choose with this encoder. And then the arpeggiator has different patterns, so you can choose one of these 16 to determine how the arpeggiator will be played back. So what do we think of the Waldorf M? It is a unique sounding synthesizer with a very precise sound and a deep character, capable of making a wide range of sounds, from basses to pads to effects. The user interface is very well designed, with proper screen information that directly views all the changes you make when you turn the knobs. And the analog parts of the M, the filters and VCAs, they sound great and they integrate well in the total sound structure. And in total, it sounds somewhere between vintage and futuristic. So maybe we have a new classic here, but for sure if you're looking for a unique sounding, well editable synthesizer, you must go and try out the M. That was it for today. I hope you liked the video, and if you did, please give us a thumbs up, and we'll see you next time.